Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back, everybody. It is one of those modalities, treatments that when most people finally decide to do it to help through some challenges, whatever they might be, phobias, anxiety, depression, limiting beliefs, whatever it might be, after they do it, they usually say, I wish I did this sooner. Why did I have an aversion to hypnotherapy? We're going to talk about that today. I'm like a self-proclaimed hypnotherapy cheerleader. I think it's fantastic. It works. It has helped me in my journey, and I would recommend it to anybody in a second. She offers it along with many other modalities, including being an amazing psychologist. She is Dr. Ann Creekmore, and she's back with us. How are you doing today?
Great, Steve. How are you?
I'm relaxed. I have a candle burning here in my studio. I'm just chilling out.
Cool.
Not like we're in session or anything like that, but I figured I never have a candle in here. I figured I'd change it up.
No, it's nice.
Yeah. A little something different. A little lavender, vanilla candle going on there.
Perfect. Calming.
So hypnotherapy, I am one of those people that knew of it, but stayed away from it just because I didn't understand it. I thought I did from watching TV and, stage hypnotists.
Right.
Is that, in your opinion, when you see them, hypnotists, do something on a TV show or whatever it might be, is that stuff real when they get them to bark like a dog and things like that?
Well, I couldn't attest, to everyone, to know for sure. But hypnosis basically will help you be able to do something that fits with your value system. It's really, you're putting yourself in a little meditation. You listen to some guided imagery, like follow your breath, breathe in good, breathe out cares, go to happy water scene, get relaxed. And then the suggestions that the hypnotherapists give, if they fit with the person's, values, then they'll be able to do it easily. So I feel, my thought is that, if they're doing something on the stage and somebody doesn't have any problem or, wants to get up and participate, it fits with their value system to do it, that they would be able to do that it would, it's just a positive suggestion that they would follow through on. They might be a ham at heart, and not mind getting up and performing or something, and it just their subconscious goes with it.
So we've never really dug into this, and it's one of the modalities that you do offer. How would you, and I don't think I've ever heard anybody actually say in a sentence or two, what is hypnotherapy?
Hypnotherapy is a therapeutic modality that really is, helps you to get to your kind of your subconscious, your into a little trance, a little meditation, if you will, voluntarily. Though, I mean, you have to be able to do it. There's no big, Manchurian candidate torture, that movie, it's not, it's just about you, voluntarily going to this space where you will suspend your thinking, all your beliefs and your, your negative beliefs. You're talking yourself out of it. So if somebody says that you're able to have positive thoughts or whatever suggestions you want them to do, you're not depressed, you're letting positive thoughts. Your mind might say, I'm depressed, I can't, But if your subconscious fits with your value system, then you'll be able to actualize it because you're not arguing with it. You've just absorbed it in. And it's basically renewing your mind to the positives that you are, but you kind of through life experiences talked yourself out of, wounds that you carry, these negative beliefs that talk yourself out of being able to do these things.
The reason I even asked that, aside from never having had a chance to ask it, is you said the word meditation before I even asked you. And that sparked me to think that it really is a form of meditation. Like when I've done hypnotherapy and then I've done meditation, I feel like I'm sort of meditating, just getting into a quiet space, reflective, that kind of thing.
You're going down to alpha, beta. Your beta is your fast action brain waves, but then you're going to alpha, you're receptive, relaxed, absorbing, or even you can go further, to delta. People will fall asleep, but their subconscious is still hearing. And so you're just in that relaxed state to absorb the good.
So is it true that when somebody is, even before I go there, are we actually in a hypnotic state right before we go to sleep and also right after we wake up?
And yeah, it's basically, we're gone down to those lower brainwave levels, the alpha, the theta, the delta, the theta. That's all part of the sleep process.
Mm. Yeah. And there's all different ways to get into that.
Absolutely.
That state. I mean, the one that I remember mostly is the practitioner tells you to look up, stare at your eyebrows if you can, and after a while, your eyes start fluttering, and then you're told to close your eyes, and that's basically it. It almost feels like you can't even open your eyes again because you're so just chill and relaxed, and you're approaching the hypnotic state.
Absolutely, it's like a little induction, with the eyes, because people, I have people that come in because I do hypnosis as an adjunct to the therapy a lot, because it's so easy. It's a non-invasive, just kind of an easy, quick fix, to do that. And the only people people say, oh, I don't think I can get hypnotized. Well, you're hypnotized as you're driving down the road and you kind of go and tune out and zone in a little bit and you go, oh, gee, I didn't remember that. I didn't realize it came this far. You were there awake, but you're kind of this tuned in zone, And the only people that can't seem to do it were the people, two people that I had. One had tremors in the eyes and couldn't stop kind of tremoring, couldn't relax the eyes, in other words. Because that's what really, like you're saying, it's like a part of the induction I would do would be to kind of raise your eyebrows and then, relax them and notice relaxation in your eyes. So for the most part, people who can do that can go into a nice little trance, and let themselves, go into that meditative, relaxed state.
What do people tell you after having a session of hypnotherapy? How do they describe it?
Oh, they seem to always love it. I mean, they're like, they usually say, I'm so relaxed, And I even have people who will come back, like after they finish their therapy, but they're like, 6 months later, well, I want to come back and just do, get into my joy bubble. They called it, get into my joy bubble because it's, just going into that nice, relaxed state that we all want to be in. I was thinking of you with the candles there, in a way that's putting you, supposedly lavender's calming and this nice candle, and you're just getting yourself in the zone of relaxation. So people love it.
I've heard, somebody told me this, and I don't know why this would be, but they said that they were considering hypnotherapy. They were doing traditional therapy, if you will. And that therapist said, oh, if you do hypnotherapy, I'm not going to do any more sessions with you. I can't do any more sessions. I've never heard of that. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't heard of that. In fact, I had a lot of therapists who, they would have their own, the client for therapy, but they don't do hypnotherapy, but the person wants to quit smoking, for example. And so they'll just refer over for some sessions so that, they can do the hypnosis for quitting smoking. And then they're still doing the therapy. It's just a very specific thing that I might do for that. So I really haven't heard of that unless they're, that person would need to ask their therapist why, what would be the problem with that. I mean, there are people who have some religious beliefs about it or something, they feel like, that there's something wrong with it. It's not any mind control. It's that, literally the person has to put themselves voluntarily into this meditative state. But some people feel uncomfortable with that, or maybe they felt in some way that would be harmful to them. I don't have any idea. It would have to be something that person would have to ask their therapist and say, well, what are you afraid would happen? But a lot of times people can go to more than one therapist. They can have their main therapist, but then if somebody has a specialty in something that the therapist doesn't, the person can get adjunct sessions to help with that certain area in different modalities, not just hypnosis.
Well, as far as you know, and practicing both therapy and hypnotherapy, they can complement each other. That's what I'm getting from you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do it, a good many of my clients that I see for therapy, I'll also say they come in for anxiety or depression or whatever, the problem, pain or whatever. Well, we can talk about, what is going on and do the therapy, but why not add in the nice, relaxing modality, which you put in your mind that you are getting better, each day in every way. I'm getting better, better, and better, and that's all the little guided imagery hypnosis is, but it just sinks in if your mind isn't arguing you out of it. So why not add that in? It makes it go quicker, get better quicker.
Can you give an example? And it's totally confidential, but somebody that you worked with, what their challenge was, what the journey was, maybe how many sessions for them. Everybody's different, but for them, and what the outcome was. Can you share something?
Oh, I wish you'd asked me that earlier because I have so many. I don't know what to pick. Can you give me an idea of anything that specifically that you might?
Let's say somebody came to you to maybe they wanted to stop smoking.
Yes.
And how did that go? And how many sessions did it take?
Well, that is a good question because the things that are the easiest to work with people for the hypnosis, in my opinion, my work would be things like the anxiety, depression. That's just a general mood thing, feeling anxious. And smoking might not be the very first time. You know what I mean? A lot of times it might take 4 sessions. The regimen that I was recommended to use was to do a weekly hypnosis session for like 4 weeks or 6 weeks, once a week, 4 times to 6 times. And I would say the smoking might take more the 4 times than just the first time that the person feels better, less anxious in general. So something was gotten to a physical thing level, even addictions of any kind or alcohol, or because you can do it for all of that, losing weight, that, eating, stress eating, whatever. Mm-hmm. All those might take, in my opinion, more, the regimen, more do it 4 times in a row versus just the first time you might feel just generally that week more relaxed, more happy.
Would you say if it's something like smoking that there's more going on there than smoking? There's underlying reasons why somebody may be gravitating to use tobacco, and within hypnotherapy, you got to, I guess, kind of get to the bottom line on that.
Yes, I do think that the hypnosis, especially for something like, for most things, but like smoking, you want to kind of look at what are the underlying issues for the smoking. And if you're trying to get over some kind of addiction and you're middle of a crisis in your life and some kind of major stressor, it's going to be a little bit harder to, give up that habit that's helping you, giving you that comfort or whatever you need at that moment. So it's good to find out, is it a habit more? Is it tension reduction? Does it stimulate you? Is it for your boredom? I mean, to get to underlying triggers, if you will, or are you under such stress now that maybe, you need to get your stress or situation under control and then go ahead and start doing it. Not that you can't start. I was thinking of someone who was under major stress with a husband, very ill, who wants to quit smoking at the same time. And it's like, well, there's other things going on, and it's a little harder when you're in the middle of a crisis emotionally and when you've had this habit for so long. But still, usually for me, it's about 4 times or so the person, and then is, really cut back, or usually have people set a date too as well, get in their mind a date they're working towards, and start to wean, cutting back a certain ritual cigarette, every couple of days, and then kind of get a plan for that big day. And but to look at the underlying reasons too, and put that in the hypnosis as well. Like if it is anxiety, we want to put in a lot for the anxiety reduction as part of it, and as well as how to manage stress better, talking and positive self-talk and so on. Combine modalities.
What about when you work with somebody and you take them, I guess, back in time to maybe see a situation that could be the cause of their challenges?
Yes.
And maybe somebody's fearful of feeling those emotions that they felt, because of a certain situation. How does that work? Or is it just one of those, it's part of the process. You got to go back so you can go forward?
Well, when I do regression, that's the type of therapy of the hypnosis you're talking about, because the first one type where we're talking about suggestion, giving you these positive suggestions to get your life stable and you're feeling better. Regression is when you're going back to a previous time or incident in the past that may, like I would ask them to go back to an incident that relates to their current pressing problem, that they're having in life now, and maybe kind of where it originated, a past wound or something. But I would also give the suggestion that when they go back, that they're not going to be re-experiencing the pain all over again. And they're going to be able to kind of see it as if it's a movie and, observe it some. And so it's not really to make them feel, catharsis or painful feelings. It's just to go back and do some healing. And that can be very beneficial. I was thinking of someone that I saw who had the complex PTSD, some of the dissociative disorder, and one of his altered, his not an alter full blown, but more like personality state. It was kind of narcissistic against the wound, you know what I mean? But when we went back to the time, he remembered when his father, who had a very bad temper, was going off on him and telling him off and shaming him and everything. And when he was in the state, he started to realize now that his father had not been raised, with all the great, child rearing ways. He had a temper. His father had a temper. He was treated the same way. He hadn't learned better skills. And he also realized that his father was a person who was going through kind of a divorce at that time. And so it was kind of more of an experience of getting insight versus and being able to heal that wound, because he could have some empathy for his father versus thinking, my father thinks I'm worthless, my father hates me, or is cruel to me. And he was able to kind of go back to that time and kind of heal the wound versus re-experience the wound. Mm-hmm.
You said before, it's almost like watching a movie of yourself, and I can completely back that up. For me, that's what it was. And it wasn't, childhood situations, and we all have them. And once you start figuring this stuff out, you realize that those are the things that are holding you back in life. It wasn't scenes that I was unaware of, but I saw them much more vividly, much more clearly. And I've always called it connecting the dots. I started connecting the dots from a certain situation to why I did what I do, back then, before hypnotherapy kicked in. It's kind of wild. It really is like watching a movie of yourself.
Right. It helps you to take that emotion in a way out of it versus making you go through it. It's helping you get that healing perspective on it
Yeah. And truth be told, there was a couple of moments where it got emotional, but it was for a minute.
Good. I
And
mean, it's good. There's 90 toxins and sad tears compared to 10 and happy. It's always good to cleanse a little bit, emotionally, physically. That's healing.
and it's probably that energy that, was kicking around there for a long time and got a chance to release it through hypnotherapy. And it was, a couple of sessions got the job done. But you can do hypnotherapy for so many different things. Even I've done it for forgiveness, because that can be impactful in moving your life forward. Doesn't mean you're condoning what somebody's done, but you're forgiving them so you can move forward. Hypnotherapy
You're not
can help.
holding that in you so that you don't trust everybody else, and you don't get triggered by, that memory anymore in your current relationships. You've released it. Yeah.
In your professional journey, and what came first? Was it you became a therapist, then a hypnotherapist, or the other way around?
Well, it was simultaneously because when I was in my doctoral program, then we had an internship, right? And then we finished up a specialization in my particular program and then had a residency. But when I was in my internship during my doctoral program, my supervisor, his specialty was hypnosis. So, of course, that's what he wanted to teach me. So I've been doing it forever because that year, it was doing therapy and doing hypnosis, as part of therapy for the clients. So, so I've been doing it for a long time.
Wow. Do you hypnotize yourself? You ever do it?
That's a good question. I mean, I meditate, if that's what, and I wonder, that's just a funny question, because I think sometimes I can get very relaxed while I'm doing the hypnosis with a person. I mean, it's a very calming thing to do. And, I mean, I'm going to a calm level with them, but, but I mean, I believe in kind of meditating and just going to kind of that, alpha yourself. I do that regularly, probably.
Wow. If you're working with somebody on hypnotherapy, do you feel a benefit yourself? You said, you feel relaxed, but have you had those moments where it's helped you while you're helping somebody else?
I would say, I would say that definitely, because, just being at that calm level and, saying these positive affirmations and suggestions. I mean, I'm sure, I'm in that nice, relaxed state, taking that in. I certainly feel good when I do it. And so, I would say it's a helpful thing. Yes.
Wow. It's
for everybody.
One of the best ways to move your life forward, my opinion.
Absolutely, because it's just quick and it's non-invasive, it's nothing, why not? Something you can do that helps, and there's nothing bad about it.
No, and it's not like you control somebody's mind. You can't do something that somebody would not allow you to do.
Absolutely.
And, for anybody that still has an aversion to hypnotherapy, you can stop at any time. So you could be doing a treatment and say, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't know why you would say that, but I'm just saying that, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah, we good. Yeah, open your eyes. That's it.
It's all your choice when you go into therapy. You choose, I always go over a treatment plan after we, talk for a couple sessions and get our acts together, knowing everything. And these are options. Nobody has to do that if they don't want to. But if they want to, we can.
Best way to find you is go to psychologytoday.com. Is that right?
Yes. And I was thinking about this and I forgot. And they can just go to driancreekmore.com, because I now have a new website that would be kind of, it's both just the psychotherapy practice, but also it's one where it's going to focus more just on mindfulness, hypnosis, kind of life coaching, more being your authentic self, not having to come in for a certain, crisis going on in life. So driancreekmore.com would, they both have it on there, but that's going to emphasize, this hypnosis and all a little bit more.
Is that Dr. DOCTOR or DR?
It's just DR. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And Ann is with the E at the end, a silent E, Ann Creekmore.
Thank you for that reminder. drandcreekmore.com. As always, thank you so much for being here today and just sharing all these wonderful things that can really, really be a game changer for somebody in their lives. And if you're stuck, this is going to move you forward. Looking forward next time we get together.
Yeah, me too, Steve. Thanks for everything.
Thanks, Ann. We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Gotta get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.